White apologies. What's a white apology? I don't know how it's my term, so I don't know how it's already defined. But a white apology is when you apologize for something that someone couldn't really ask you to apologize for. And what I mean by couldn't is morally maybe they could, but socially, you haven't quite reached the threshold in your transgression where the other person would feel justified in asking you for an apology. So like a really, really, really easy example is you're walking on the street, you bump into someone. In most communities, we are not going to go approach the person, demand an apology if that happens. In most communities, I say in the communities that I grew up with, there's one big exception. So a lot of course, low income or minority communities, that is going to be a bigger deal, especially if they don't know you. But so anyway, so you bump into someone, and it only almost becomes an issue if you don't apologize in general, right? So no matter what community, if someone bumps into you and then they just don't at all acknowledge it, now it kind of becomes an issue because they didn't give you what I call a white apology. Another example is, I don't know, you're having a picnic. Someone goes to the bathroom, didn't ask you to wash their bags or anything. Someone else comes, steals the person's bag, leaves. The bag owner returns. Hey, there's no bag. If you were there, give them a white apology. They absolutely deserve one. Say, oh shit, I was here. If I had been paying attention, my bad, dude. I'm sorry. Look, they can't really get mad at you because hold on. They can't really get mad at you. They didn't ask you to do it. And unfortunately, the world is the way that it is, where we do have to ask, oh, hello, sorry to bother you. And that we're not just a community where everything that's out in the open is kind of ours, or we know each other and blah, blah. So that's what a white apology is. And look, I'm not going to make any generalizations as much as I have a voice screaming a generalization. But there's sometimes there are people who have a really, really hard time with apologies in general. So they have a problem with basic apologies, saying, oh, you just pointed out that a thing that I did was wrong. I now see that it was wrong, and I regret that thing. Usually they don't get to the seeing that it was wrong. They just justify. And then it's really hard to do white apologies, actually, because now, I'll explain why. So for a regular apology, it can be hard to, one reason that it can be hard to give a regular apology is because now, once you do that, there's no going back. You have now admitted to wrongdoing. This is not strategy on your part. But what happens is, there's a voice in your mind that goes, hold on, you want me to admit to wrongdoing? No, shut that down, because just shut that down. I evolved to exist to shut that down, because we shouldn't accept responsibility unless we absolutely have to. We shouldn't take judgment unless we absolutely have to. And this, I don't feel like this is proven. Also, listen to all these other voices in this mind that are giving all these ways in which actually we weren't in the wrong at all. So I'm going to wait until all of them, they've exhausted themselves. Then if the conversation is still going, or if the other person says something particularly compelling, okay, then I'll give an apology. So a brain that buries its apology voice that much, who has that much justification and also just that much fear of what apologizing will entail. It means pleading guilty. It means now we can't escape that. So no wonder we evolved mechanisms to first try to escape. So people who are bad at giving regular apologies are, of course, going to be very, very bad at giving white apologies, because now there's not even an accusation, absolutely no reason for them to risk themselves, to go out of their way and say, oh, hey, that thing that I did, you didn't say that it was bad, but maybe it was bad. Maybe I could have done better, and I accept that I have a responsibility towards you. And, you know, maybe we didn't meet the threshold of you being able to be mad at me, but I'm sorry. No, of course, some people, you need to get really... There needs to be a lot of anger in order for them to feel convinced that they owe you an apology. Which is why, by the way, we anticipate that. Often when we ask for an apology or when we express what we're upset about, we only do it when we got a lot of angry energy and a lot of justifications. It's very difficult to just say, hey, something that you did bothered me. I don't know whether it should have bothered me, and I'm not like super angry, but it's like, why the fuck are you talking to me about that? So what we do is we cheat. We make ourselves angry about something that wouldn't have actually angered us, but just kind of bothered us. We make ourselves angry in order to justify our asking for an apology. Then the other person gets angry in order to justify their refusing. Of course, again, this isn't strategy. When I say because, I mean that's why these voices evolved the way that they did. So, here's what I want to say about all that. When you apologize, you are not saying, I suck. And I think that's what the issue is for some people, is that they think that by apologizing, they're now sticking this big sticker, failure, loser, criminal, rapist, whatever, on them. By pleading guilty, that goes on your record and that says that your personality and your whatever is shit. But if you understand voice theory, you understand that there's no such thing as sort of your personality. That's just a sum of a bunch of voices, and some of them are going to be very bad. I have bad voices. I have good voices, but I also have bad voices. Not evil voices, not voices that want to cause harm, but just behavioral mechanisms that are actually not consistent with my morality. I still say he, for instance. No, I don't want to give that as an example. I still say he rather than, they or he, she. Also, and not for transsexuals, obviously, when I'm speaking generally. Also, I just had bad interpretive mechanisms, bro. All right, look, this isn't a video about voice theory, but once you understand voice theory, yeah, you understand, oh, okay. So, of course, I have a lot of shit programming in here. Okay, cool. So now every time I do something shitty or something almost shitty or something that I know that I could have or should have done better, oh, look at this amazing opportunity I have to say, hey, see that shitty action or inaction that you might attribute with me because it's me who did or didn't do it? Yeah, I've actually identified that as some of my bad programming. So you no longer need to attribute that to me. So I recognize that was a thing that was done. I recognize that it was bad. Yeah, bad programming. And it won't happen again in the future. I'm going to try to reduce it. Yeah! I'm awesome. That thing, okay? That's what apologizing lets you do. Apologizing is amazing. I love apologizing. I apologize all the time, if I agree with it. Because I'm able to say, oh shit, hey, that thing you weren't happy about? Or that thing that maybe you didn't even notice but could have done you some harm. This thing that I did, it was actually some of my bad programming. Just wanted to say I'm sorry for that. Let me make it up to you. And I don't want you to have to worry too much about that in the future. Or at least know I'm working on it. That's awesome. That's awesome. No need to defend yourself from that. Of course, make sure that it is actually something to apologize. Well, no. I mean, I usually err on the side of assuming that the accusation is correct or that the apology is correct, and then I'll give it some more thought. And if I realize, I'm not sure that I should have apologized there, then maybe we'll chat again about it. or if it should have, and usually there's always something that I can apologize for. And so I take advantage of that. But of course, I don't pretend like I'm apologizing for everything. I say, look, I can apologize for this. This other thing, I don't think I can apologize for. I don't think that's my responsibility. I think that was your responsibility, or I think that was just the situation. I'm sorry for how you felt about it, and I don't blame you for how you felt about it. It's totally a natural way to feel about it. I regret that you felt about it that way, but I am probably going to continue to do that thing. Hopefully, it won't be in the same situation, so you won't be upset about it. Or otherwise, I think you are going to have to adjust your reaction. Sometimes you'll hear me say that as well, yeah. So there you go. I encourage you to apologize, to try, and also this is the same thing for being wrong about something. Love when I'm wrong about something, and when I see it. Love it. Absolutely love it. I was at Burger King one day, and I was in the south of France, I think. Anyway, they had something that I hadn't seen in the north of France, which was there was a lot more involved, what you have to do with your cup and your bowl and your straws and all that stuff when you're leaving, all the different trash cans and stuff. I thought it was much simpler than it was. So when I finished my meal, I put my tray on top, took whatever garbage paper items, threw them in one trash bin, threw something else, I think, in another trash bin. Didn't really understand what the third trash bin was for. I thought it was for food, I think. And then left the rest of the plasticware on top. Sitting, working at my computer, and I see these three redneck, well, I would say redneck if they were, anyway, country folk, and they French, and I thought they did it wrong. They threw the cup, they threw the bowl into this trash can. Oh, you idiots. They can wash those. Why are you throwing it in the trash? So I speak up. I say, oh, but actually they can wash those cups. So I don't think you're supposed to put them in there. You're supposed to leave them on top. And so one of the people says, oops, too late. The other, he's looking at the sign. And another, she says, oh, no. This is the bin for where you're supposed to put them. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Because there was a moment there where we weren't on the same page. I didn't feel like we were in the same in-group, I felt like you guys were doing something ridiculous. This is awesome. You guys I think you're absolutely right. I'm looking at the sign, and I hadn't paid, you're absolutely right. So that means that I did it wrong. So I get up, I go, so yep, thank you. And I'm throwing my stuff where it has to be, right? They didn't know that was my stuff. And one of them, and I didn't think anything of this situation except for this interaction, except for one of the women, she was kind of looking at me, and she was just kind of like the situation had shocked her. What is sort of going on? You called us out, but you were wrong. What is happening? But also, you don't seem to be bothered by that. So she was really not understanding, because it was supposed to be I'm the asshole that spoke up, and then I was wrong, so tail between my legs. But here, it was a lot to compute, and but that interaction was totally natural for me. And so that's what I want from you guys, is that it should feel pleasurable to admit when you're wrong, to admit when you've done wrong or when you believe wrong. I love it. Sometimes it gets me in trouble. Because sometimes people think, oh, I think that I'm so much smarter than I am. Oh, I mean, I am a lot smarter, but that doesn't mean that. Anyway. So there's this one time this American in France uses the word, she asked me, can I take a swig of my drink? And I am an idiot. So I thought that a swig meant you gargle it and then you spit it back out. So I was like, that's a weird word to use. So I gave it to her. I didn't want to say anything because I know she's sensitive. So I didn't want to say is that the right word? Swig? So I decided to just Google it. And I Google, and oh, I'm the fool. Swig 100% means, well, and so I thought, oh my gosh, I have got the best opportunity right here. I'm the one who is wrong, and it's even like better because I thought that she was wrong, but it was me who was wrong. What a great story. Let me tell this story. I want her to see that I am sort of open-minded, that I don't just, if I think that someone used a word wrong, I don't just point it out because I think, because I want to put them down. It's only purely because that word choice struck me as strange. And also that I love being wrong, because people always think that I don't like being wrong. I love it. So I'm going to prove it. So I go, hey, Erica. So when you said swig about 5 minutes ago, I thought that you were using the word incorrectly. And then what? You think I don't know how to speak English? No, but actually, the funny thing is that I don't. Why would you Google the word that like I use just to like test me? No, hold on. But no, it's just because I had thought. Because actually, you're so fucking weird. Like, what are you trying to prove? No, Erica, listen to me. You were right. I know that I was right. I know how to use the word swig. That's why I used it. But you didn't think that I did. No. I don't remember what I did. I love being wrong. Love apologizing. I'm wrong all the time. I have tons of stuff to apologize for. No, I don't love being wrong. But I love, once I'm right, once I realize, oh, hey, I was wrong, I love talking about how I was wrong. Love it. Love learning. Love showing that I'm able to learn. And I just wish that that was more normal. I'm in a weird situation right now, where just a little, someone maybe should have recognized a thing, that an idea maybe came from me. Not at all a big deal. A little weird that it wasn't mentioned. So then I mentioned this to the person, and the person's like, I did. I said it was based on our conversation. Whoop. It's not based on our conversation. It's not based on our conversation. It's not based on our conversation. And this is becoming like now a bigger deal, because this was not supposed to be a big deal. This was supposed to be, hey, can you just say out loud, hey, that was a great idea, and I used your idea for this, and, changed it, and I made this awesome thing. Can you just say that? But now, to be honest with you, there's going to need to be an apology. I'm going to need to feel any kind of good about this, because there's been so much avoiding of saying that it was my idea. I'm going to need an apology. Hey, you know what? I think I felt a little insecure, felt a little uncomfortable, didn't want to, and kind of thought that you wouldn't recognize what I contributed to the idea. So I was a little bit, but, so I'm sorry though. I'm sorry. I should have been quicker to, of course, obviously, it was your idea. And yes, of course I could have mentioned to you that I was going to do it, that I was going to use your idea and make something of it. And thanks for, my bad about that. And, thanks for saying that I did such a good job with it. Might be. So that's what inspired me to make this video wow, my eyes, look at that. So that's what inspired me to make this video that, the eyebrows. So that's what inspired me to make this video about white apologies, the importance of apologizing, why you should feel comfortable apologizing, the importance of saying when you think you've realized that you're wrong. Very few people actually ever realize that they're wrong or that they need to apologize, by the way. So a lot of people think that the problem is that the person knows that they need to apologize but just refuses to do it, or that the person knows that they're wrong but just refuses to admit it. That is almost never the problem. The only time that could be the problem is like if there's an audience, but that's almost never the problem. Usually, and that's why you need to learn about voice theory, the brain is just that fucking good at convincing the person that what they're doing is right. And then sometimes you're the one who's wrong. You're wrong in your accusation, or you're wrong in saying that they're wrong. Like I was wrong about swig. Like I was totally unrelated. Someone used an idea of mine, but there is this thing that they did differently, something that I wouldn't have done in the execution of the idea if I were to make a movie with the idea. And I thought that, oh, well, then they got the idea wrong. That's what I thought at first, but I kept thinking about it. Why are they talking about, I don't know, cultural appropriation? That has nothing to do with the idea. And then I realized, yes. And it's because of the fact, the thing that they changed. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And so I told the person, I thought that maybe I just missed the idea. I thought I was like, there's a conflict here. But then I thought about it and I realized, it's brilliant what you did there. And how that message there and your version of that. That's wonderful, 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 wonderful. Great job. In case you're watching this. Awesome job. Awesome job. But things are going to be awkward until you say, oh, hey, by the way, that was your idea. And I took a long time to say that out loud. And you know what? I'm not even going to rush you about, talking about the voices in your mind that explain why that's so difficult. Maybe you learned some about the voices in this video. It's so awesome when we can admit, because it's not us. It's not us. We always do shitty, silly, incomprehensible, illogical, wrong things. We believe all sorts of things. Understand that. And then when it happens, which it will happen, which you should be noticing more often, well, when you actually notice it happen, tell everybody. Say, hey guys, I was saying that everything was wrong. I don't think so anymore. That's so awesome. Then we can be like, oh, cool, can do a hug. Of course, there are lots of things I think you're all wrong about. But unfortunately, I'm just still convinced that you're wrong, so I can't hug about it. And you should just listen to me. But if ever I realize, holy shit, voices theory is all wrong, I mean, that's going to feel so good. Because it sucks to disagree. It sucks for me. That's going to feel cool. It's going to be like, oh man, you guys were right all along. I get it now. Look how awesome of a learner I am. Look how awesome, how intellectually flexible I am. All right. Thank you. And I am sorry. Nah, fuck it. This amount of time is worth what I'm saying. If you really spend time with it. I'm sorry for not putting in more effort into organizing these things, but I don't actually think that I would make any videos if I only tried to make organized ones.